Hey kids, Mr. Fly here, hope you're well, and welcome to another live stream. It's May, and time for another one of these things again. Always a little bit nerve-wracking when these start, because I never quite know if the technology's going to work. Let me have a quick look at my screens and see if looks like things are working. So the microphone looks like it's working, and I can see a picture of myself. So maybe it is working. Let me know. Oh, Dan Rockwell says first, excellent. So we've got one person watching, that's fantastic. And hello, Jack, as well, from Cork. Thank you for joining. Okay, brilliant. So as ever, I'm hoping for lots of questions on the live stream. We'll never know what comes up. Happy to talk about anything you like. Well, hopefully about motorcycling, but could be flying too. And so it'd be anything about the recent videos that I've posted, or indeed anything else. And of course, because I'm the person reading the questions, I can choose which ones I answer. So that's absolutely fine. But before we get to that, I've got a couple of shout outs. This is how these things are going these days. There's actually people that have requested me to say things. So first off, happy birthday, I want to say to Jonathan Davis. He's 30 on the 30th of May. So well done, John, on being 30. Jessica sends her best wishes, as do I. So well done to you. Another shout out for Robert Mockery, who on the 2nd of June, he's 37. That's from Kirsten. And also Ricky Buell 321 says that I should say hello to Bev, because apparently Bev loves me. So hello, Bev. Fantastic. Clearly a woman of great taste. And also I want to say get well soon to Speed Triple Woody, who on the last live stream told me that he had a couple of broken ribs and a broken shoulder having fallen off his bike. So that sounds pretty nasty. He was in a lot of pain apparently. So hope you're on the mend, Speed Triple Woody, and hopefully you'll be getting out on the bike again in no time. And also I said that I'll give a shout out to somebody, and I hope I'm saying this right, somebody called Saipalubo, who's watching in the Philippines, or was last time. So hello to you. Thank you very much for sending me the message. So there we go. There's a few shout outs just to get us going while we're getting warmed up. Let's have a little look and see who we've got coming on the live stream. Hi from California. That's brilliant. Just put my specs on so I can actually read the live chat. Rutger. Hello, Rutger. Good to see you again as ever. John McKay from the Netherlands is in. Who else have we got? Evening, Mr. Bisson from Motorbike Tourer. Paul Hickey. Hello. Peter Woodhead's in. Oh, excellent. Who else have we got? Moto Groover. Hello to you. Lots of familiar names here. Some of my regular contributors. This is excellent. Hello, Biko Wheelo, the likeable rider. Hello, you're in. Good to see you. Eric Versteeg's in. Mark Johnstone. My goodness me. Sweden we've got. We've got Cardiff, Nottingham, Exmouth. I'm looking for the furthest one. High Wycombe. That's not it. Canada. I saw someone float. But Minnesota. Excellent. Who else have we got? Who's coming in from a long way off? Hello from sunny Norfolk from JS. Was there earlier in the week. You might have seen my video. Oh, Plymouth Jana's here. got a question from you in my list, actually. Who else have we got? Glasgow. Brilliant. New Forest. Brilliant. They're all coming in. Fantastic. Thank you for tuning in. And hopefully you got my message okay. It might be interesting, actually. I always watch these back afterwards just to check out the messages that I might have missed during the live stream, because there's always some that, despite people asking me time and time again, I fail to see their message. Just let me know where you're watching from. I'd love to find out where people are watching from. That's absolutely brilliant. So, at the end of the live stream, as usual, of course, and we'll do it for half an hour or so. If we go on for longer, that's fine. These seem to go on for longer. It depends if I run out of things to say. Then I'll do some parish notices at the end, as usual. Lots of stuff that I want to tell you about that's coming up on the channel. Also, my usual little question. Can you let me know in the comments, the live chat, I think is the technical name, whether you can see and hear me okay? From what I can tell, my stream health looks sort of amber, so I think that's all right. That might mean the kids aren't on the internet. And thank you, Rutger. And can you let me know if you can hear me okay? Because I'm always fiddling with these microphones, and it's more tricky than meets the eye getting this sort of work, is all I can say. All right then, let's have a look. Anyone? So New Malden. Oh, I used to live in New Malden. Scabby Joe, would you believe that? I was in, where did I live? It was just up past Waitrose, backing onto the train line. You'll know where I am. Dukes Avenue. That was it. Is that still there? Hope so. Fond memories of New Malden. Where else have we got? Sounding good, thank you. Craig says looks good. Thank you, Tim. Loud and clear. Thank you, Tim. Oh, High Desert. Duncan in California. Fantastic. I'll be there later in the year. What else have we got? Gosh, these messages fly by so fast. All good in Northwich. John in Dublin. Hopefully see you. Ooh, disappeared. Sorry about that. Ash, that random guy, Burton. Oh, you're in Burton. Okay, fine. Paul. Okay, brilliant. Fantastic. Oh, somebody from sunny Gretna as well. I'm glad that it's sounding like it's sunny in Blighty today. It's certainly sunny where I am, down here in Buckinghamshire. It's a lovely evening. If I wasn't talking to you now, I'd be out on my bike. It's absolutely gorgeous out there. So thank you for watching this rather than being out on your bike. That's very kind of you. So do think up some questions for me as soon as I can start to see some. Oh, hello, Sam and Rosie in Barnsley. Col in Qatar. Wow, I bet it's a bit warm there. Pennsylvania, Northamptonshire, North Wales, Bakewell, love your tarts. Bet you get that all the time. Where are you planning on visiting California this year, says Julian? Well, I'm starting in San Francisco, travelling down the coast, the What's It Highway, which I've done a few times, by the way, down to LA and then on to San Diego. So there we go. That's later on in the year. All good in Porthcawl. The misinformed Friars here. Excellent. Good to see you as well. Who we got? Mr. Super Duke. Hello, mate. Good to see you in West Sussex. Ken's in Basildon. Devon says hello. Hello, Colin. I didn't realise you were down in Devon, Colin. I know Ashburton very well. Anywhere near there. Who else have we got? Mr. Bojangles. Hello, mate. Good to see you along. Lovely evening to be out on your bike. Sydney, Australia. Moto Groover, when you coming? Oh, I'd love to come there. That is so on the bucket list. It's untrue. I didn't realise you were there, Moto Groover. That's fantastic. Do try to not get arrested this show, TMF, please. Well, I didn't technically get arrested last time, but that video, just while we're on that subject, that's referring to a video I posted last week where I got my collar felt when I stopped at Chequers to take some photographs. First off, Chequers being, in case you don't know, the sort of country home of the UK Prime Minister, if you like. She, being Theresa May, very rarely uses it. Normally, it's weekends only that Prime Ministers tend to use it. In her case, because she lives locally anyway, she only lives near Maidenhead, not that far away. She doesn't actually even, I don't think she even sleeps in number 10 Downing Street during the week. She goes home of an evening, and why not? I don't blame her. But I think she uses Chequers even less. So the fact that I got stopped by a couple of heavily armed coppers was quite something. Although I quite often stop there. They've got a... you will have seen if you saw the video, there's quite a nice driveway at the front, gravelled area, and the sun shines on it quite nice. It's an excellent spot for taking photographs of bikes that I'm borrowing. So I've stopped there on a number of occasions over the last few years and taken pictures, and I've been surprised that I haven't been stopped and had a talking to before, because there are cameras and stuff all over there. So yeah, I did get stopped this time, and I posted the video. Unfortunately, I didn't have the camera rolling when I was initially stopped, but once they started chatting to me, I realised that actually this might be YouTube Gold, so I snuck my camera on, and I thought, well, I'll see what happens, and managed to post a video out of it. So I didn't put too much thought on it. It's poorly edited, just thrown up, and then literally within the first day, I think it had over 40,000 views, which for me is a massive video. So when I last looked, I think it had, and I looked a little bit earlier before this live stream, I think it had 67,000 views, something like that, in less than a week, which is unbelievable. So it was well worth them stopping me. I've had a few people say that I purposely did it so that they would stop, which definitely isn't the case. I never encourage getting entangled with the law, but certainly it's good for your YouTube view count. Anyway, but they're a very nice police. I wasn't breaking any laws anyway, so it all worked out well in the end. And as I say, I got a high viewed YouTube video out of it, so great stuff. Let me see what's coming in on the lines then. Thought cops had caught you with a milkshake. Not sure, is that referring to the Nigel Farage thing that happened today? See, you got a milkshake thrown over him. TMF, have you done any advanced riding, said Coldstream69. Excellent, a proper question. Not really, is the answer. I did do that, I did the bike safe day with the Metropolitan Police. If you've not subscribed to the channel or you're relatively new, that was about over a year ago now that I did that with the Metropolitan Police over in West Molesey? Anyway, Surrey somewhere. Or is it, well, out that way, near Kingston-on-Thames, west of London. Check out that. If you do a little search on my channel, you should find it. It was the bike safe course. So that was only a one-dayer. And the idea of that is it gives you a taste for what advanced riding's like. And it's just something I've never really got into. I'm not saying I'd never do it. I'm not saying it's a bad thing. Certainly you never stop learning when you're riding, do you? A bit like with my other hobby, flying. Every ride is a learning opportunity. And you'd be foolish to think that you knew it all. I still regard myself as a new rider. So... yeah, I'm not anti-advanced riding. I just haven't really had the time to do it, to be honest with you. I know it's a pathetic excuse. If I really wanted to do it, I'd make the time. And I know my mate and fellow vlogger Teapot1 has been doing some sort of advanced training. I haven't seen any videos on that from him recently. So yeah, maybe that is something for the future. Not too sure. But the issue I have with it, to be brutally honest with you, is that I'm never too sure why the people giving those courses are more qualified to tell me how to ride than I already am, if you see what I mean, because it seems like the training is all a bit unofficial. I'm probably being very unfair to those guys, and I know lots of people that watch are those instructors and trainers, and I'm not trying to diss what you're doing at all. There's just something about it that doesn't feel quite right to me, but I can't really put my finger on it. So there we go. That's a nice answer to that. Think you Beta, Marco from Croatia. When are you coming to the coastline? Low traffic, 70 mile an hour average speed, 500 kilometres of twisty B roads. Who survives lives to tell the story. Well, funny you should say that, Think you Beta, because I will be coming in that sort of direction in the next month or so, I think. You won't be seeing the videos for a little while, but stay tuned for that. What else we got? Bike safety is brilliant, says Clive. Well worth the 50 quid. I think it varies on how much they charge for it. I think I paid 75 quid, something like that. Depends on the force you do it with, but it is pretty cheap for a whole day's training. Hello, Faraz. Faraz Baber, one of my regular viewers there. Good to see you. Hello, Simon Stokes gives me a thumbs up on advanced training. So obviously you've been through it, Simon, and thought it was good. So that's fine. Motor Michelle, are you going to test ride the new S1000RR soon? That's the sports bike from BMW, isn't it? And I'd love to ride that. Unfortunately, I don't have a lot of luck with BMW in terms of official contact with them. I say that I am now in official contact with them in that I've at this very moment, in fact, I've got a BMW in the garage that BMW UK have lent me. I've got the F850 GS in there. But that was organised ages ago, and I have asked them about the S1000RR, and long story short, it's all quite difficult to arrange these things, not because of anything they're doing, but my schedule and everything else. I've spoken to Barnstormer, my friends, the local BMW dealer, about it. They haven't got a demo, they tell me, and won't have for some time. As soon as they get a demo ride in, I'll have a go on it. I'd love a go on that bike. I rode the old S1000RR. Thought it was an amazing sports bike. I couldn't get on with the squinty asymmetric front look of the bike, although it was, and also the ride, if anything, was a little bit too perfect, maybe a bit too clinical. So what I'm expecting of the new bike is, number one, they've cured the looks of it as far as I'm concerned. The pictures I've seen of it, it looks absolutely stonking now, doesn't it? It's in my top 3 favourite sports bikes, up with the Panigale and the R1 for looks, for sure. And I imagine the ride is absolutely stonking. So yeah, I will be riding that motor, Michelle, as soon as I can, but it ain't going to be happening anytime soon. I'll be surprised if you see it before August. As soon as I do ride it, though, I'll do that review and I'll get the post up. It won't be lingering around for long, so hopefully that answers the question. Who else have we got then? Chris Moran, just done the enhanced rider scheme. It was all right. Okay, a glowing endorsement there. Fatty Lamb Chop, evening chap. Good evening, sir. Are you Lamb Chop's bigger brother? Who else have we got? Thoughts on the F850 GS Sport from David. GS Sport, the one I've got at the moment is the GS Adventure, and it's the exclusive TE version I've got. So I'm not sure I've done the GS Sport, or have I? Yes, I've done the GSA Sport, the one in the rally paint scheme. That review is coming up relatively soon, actually. In fact, this time I remember to print off my schedule of videos in case anybody asks questions like this. So that one is actually coming up if you're interested. He says, quickly looking down the list. When is that happening? Actually, it's not for a while yet because I want to do it along with the other ones. Crikey, I can't see it. Where is it? It's going to be, looking at this, around about the July time frame. So not too long. Oh no, I lie, completely lie. June the 10th is when that one comes up. Sorry, the writing is so small. Now, this is my part of my schedule. I don't know if you can see that, but lots of videos, as you can see on there. The ones in black are already filmed and in the can. The ones in green, which you probably can't tell, are filmed but not edited. And the ones in red are still to film. And that list is only part of it, and that runs till November the 11th. So I know exactly what I'm filming up until Monday, November the 11th, and in fact beyond. If I took the whole spreadsheet, believe it or not, 2 videos a week. I've got everyone planned up until this time next year. Which is why sometimes, and most weeks, in fact, I do more than 2 videos a week because I've just got too much to fit in. If I end up with too much of a backlog, they start to get a bit out of date and possibly stale, so I'll just upload more that week. So, but anyway, I've found in this YouTube game, you need to be regular with posting stuff, and if you don't plan stuff, you don't, you can go through periods of having fallow periods, and that's not good. So that's why I've got a complicated schedule. I'm not sure what I'm telling you all that, but that's how it works. All right, let's see what we've got happening on the live chat then. Motor Michelle, yes, the pictures of the Triumph Rocket look great. They do. That is, again, see, if I get a chance to ride one of those, that would go straight to the head of the queue in terms of posting the video, because I think there's going to be a lot of interest in that bike. Certainly, I've got a lot of interest in it. I've seen the TFC one, of course. That looks amazing, but super expensive. I don't know how much the production version is going to be. I saw some spy shots of it in last week's MCN. If you've not bought MCN from last week, got some great clear shots of the productionized bike as opposed to the TFC one. That looks brilliant to me. They've done away with obviously some of the carbon bits that the TFC one's got and replaced it with straightforward plastics, but it doesn't look any the less for it. And also they've got a picture of another version of the bike that looks like it's going to be the sort of more touring focused one. It's got some sort of saddlebags on the back and a touring screen and a sissy bar thing. So if you want one that you're going to carry a passenger with and do some touring, looks like there's one of those coming. Excuse me, just have a swig of water. He says, having his gin. Right, all right, what else we got coming up here? Hello, Carl. Carl says, hi, hello. I see you've got guitars hanging up. Can you play them? And if yes, what songs do you play? Thanks. Great blog, says Waffy52. It'd be a bit odd, wouldn't it, having guitars hanging up if I couldn't play them? This comes up all the time. I should really take them off the wall. I have sort of been jangling about on the guitar for many years. I think to say I can play them is probably a bit too optimistic. But and all sorts of stuff, but I don't want to get into that. I'm never going to play the guitar on air, all right? That's a promise. What else we got? Diesel0022 just ordered a new Ruroc Atlas Hellfire helmet. Any thoughts? Only, what the hell is one of them, really? Sorry about that. No, I've not heard of them. It sounds like it's Ruroc Atlas Hellfire. It's a hell of a name, I think that. I'll have to look those up. It... yeah, sounds pretty wild. Electric Tramp's on its way, says Whip It Ralph. Yeah, I saw the news stories of that coming. Interesting. They've done looks like they're going to be doing a joint venture with a bunch of people, but including Williams, of Formula One fame, etc. So if anyone can knock up an electric bike that's going to be interesting, hopefully it'll be that little consortium. So yeah, more on that when I do my next bike news video. Thrills on Wheels. If you want to review guitars, I have a fair few. Thank you, Thrills on Wheels. Send them over. Sleeping Dragon, even TMF. Oh, shot off the top of the screen. Sorry, Sleeping Dragon. Maybe I'll see you again later. Scott Peterson. Hello, Scott. Another regular viewer. Great to have you along. I will give you guitar lessons anytime you're in Michigan. Scott, on his little avatar, has a picture of him playing the guitar. So I'm sure he's much better at it than I am. In fact, I think you said, Scott, you're a pro, aren't you? So excellent. What have we got? Steve says, NC750X or VFR 800X for commuting. Well, to be honest, I haven't ridden the VFR 800X, Steve, so I don't know. But I have ridden the NC750 when I did one of those trips with my friends at Canary Motorcycle Tours. Great bike for commuting. Fantastic, in fact, for that, particularly if you get the DCT one. In fact, either way, I think on that particular bike, that's one that would benefit from DCT, because if I did like the bike very much, but one of the things I found with it was, maybe it's because I'm coming from bikes when I tour with bigger engines. My GS, has a lot of low down grunt, so you don't have to stir the gearbox that much. Oh, thank you very much, Philip. That's very kind of you. I'm not sure what an SBK is. Swedish krone, perhaps. Thank you very much. Don't know how much they're worth either. It sounds like a lot, but we'll see. But thank you. Anyway, so you did have to stir the gearbox quite a lot on the NC750X, and I think the having the DCT version would be a good move, because then you don't have to worry about that. But that might just be me, because I'm used to very torquey bikes. But there we are. The Missenden Vaughan Fry. Shall we go to the wheelie school? Possible. There are a few wheelie schools around, actually. I've talked about these before. What else we've got? Jeff Donaldson. Are you still interested in riding subscribers' older bikes? I have an FJ1200 ABS that I love. Funny you should mention that, because another video I've got coming up soon, I'll talk more about this in Parish Notices, is the, where is it? Somewhere quite soon, I think it is, the FJR 1300A, the new Yamaha, the big touring bike. What a stonking bike that is. But to answer your question directly, yes, I am, very much. And you're referring to my series Readers Rides, where I asked for subscribers to bring their bikes along, particularly if it was something maybe more slightly older, more affordable, because I'm always doing reviews on new bikes, and I appreciate not everybody can afford new bikes, particularly at the prices they are today, although there are some good value bikes out there as well, but more on that another day. So I did a few of those, and it turned out that the bikes that people brought were more exotic. They were fantastic, don't get me wrong. I was very appreciative of those guys for bringing them along, and I thought they were made for interesting videos. So I would like to do some more of them. The issue with them is they take quite a bit of setting up. It really wouldn't work if you live a long way away. And again, thank you very much to those of you that have offered your bikes. But if you live, more than, 50 miles away, say, from where I am, it really isn't that practical for you to ride your bike all the way here just to stand in my garage for a couple of hours and talk about your bike. I know you say you'd be happy to do it, but it just, it would wipe your day out to do it. So number one, you have to be relatively local. Number two, you have to both be available. Three, the weather has to be okay, so you don't get your pride and joy covered in crud on your way here, which a few have. So I am interested in doing that. I'm not sort of, as it were, taking orders at the moment. I've got a bit of a backlog of people that offered in the past. When I start doing those again, and it might be more of a winter pursuit, I don't know. I'm sort of thinking about changing the way I do bike reviews a bit. Then I'll let you know. But thank you very much for the offer. And those big Yamahas, yeah, beautiful bikes. I would definitely love to have a go on your FJ1200. If it's anything like the new FJR 1300, what a bike. Okay, what have we got coming up? Fentor. Want to try the Big Grunt GSX 1400. Arms removed from the sockets. Yeah, like that feeling. Again, I've never ridden the GSX 1400. That would be a great bike to ride. Sleeping Dragon. 21 quid. Thank you very much. Oh, good. That was the Swedish krone conversion. Thank you very much again for that. What else we got? Hello, Toyota Supra Wheeler. Let's have a look. You have ridden the VFR 800X V4 Crossrunner, says Plymouth Gen. Yes, indeed. Careful if you keep if you do that, you'll be back on the blacklist. No, you're quite right, and well spotted. I'm glad you remembered more about the bikes I've ridden than I have. Gethin Salter, anything better than the 790 Duke for the road? Naked bikes. Oh, thank you, the nose that knows. Anything better than the 790 Duke as a road bike? Crikey, I'm trying to think off the top of my head. I mean, I'm minded to say yes, I did like the 790 Duke, but it didn't blow me away. When, like a lot of these new bikes when they come out, they're surrounded by hype in the magazines and on, official YouTube reviews and the stuff that you know in the MCN and so on. They all say how brilliant the bikes are. The 790 Duke was no different. Everybody raved about it. I rode it as well, and I did think it was a nice bike, but it didn't blow me away. The looks of it, I always struggle a bit with KTMs, to be honest, with a couple of exceptions. I like the little 390 Duke, the baby Duke, and I like the big Duke, the Super Duke. But other than that, the KTMs don't really look that good to me. I'm sorry, KTM, but that's just the way they are, and I'm not big on the whole orange thing either. And the 790 just didn't get me in the heart in terms of looks, and for me to buy a bike, I have to, number one, it has to ride well and do the things that it's supposed to do, but also it has to grab me by the old heartstrings, and I have to like the looks of it. That one, it was just a middling bike, so I think there are lots of probably better road bikes. I can't think of them off the top of my head. Well, number one, the Street Triple, I think, is a better bet. I actually like the Suzuki SV650. In fact, that's an amazing road bike. This last weekend, I've been riding a Royal Enfield Interceptor 650, the new twin from them. A great value for money bike, brilliant on the road. You need no more power than that's got, and that's only got something like 46 brake horsepower. Brilliant bike. There are plenty of good road bikes out there. For me, the 790 Duke wouldn't be in my top 5 road bikes, but I can't give you what the top 5 is because I can't think of them off the top of my head. But that is an idea for another video. I did some of those sort of top 5 videos a while back where I talked about what my favourite bikes were. That needs another dust up. That was probably over a year ago when I did that. And again, I'm in the back of my mind, I'm thinking for winter, because that's something I can record in the garage and I don't necessarily need to go out in the horrible weather. That's another video I'll maybe do then, and I'll go through my top 5 bikes in various categories and why, because of course this year I've ridden lots more exciting bikes and there's some great stuff out there. It's a good time to be buying bikes. Right, what else have we got coming in? I have to agree on the SV650, says JS. Good, glad we agree. Will you review a Vespa, says John? I'd love to. I've ridden and reviewed various scooters, only the Chinese ones though. They're the ones that have been made available to me, and I've enjoyed them. Well, I say that, I've also ridden BMW scooter, the electric one. And then maybe, and of course the Yamaha as well. And of course the Suzuki Bergman. So yeah, I've done the maxi scooters as well. I love riding scooters. I love riding anything with 2 wheels. I'd even have a go at one of those electric sort of bicycle things if somebody would lend me one. So I would love a go on a genuine pucker Vespa. I just don't have any relationship with any dealers that I know of that do Vespas. If there's one nearby and they had demos, I'd love to ride them. It would be fantastic. Okay, what else we got? Dan Wild, hi Timmy, I've been watching your videos and it's inspired me to get into biking. I've done my CBT and I'm about to take some lessons. Any recommendations for a friendly first big bike, Dan? Excellent question, Dan. I'll give you my thoughts in a second, but I have got a video on this very subject, actually. If you go onto my YouTube channel after this video and you just Google how to choose your first big bike, you should find my video on this subject where I go in depth on this one. But my view on this, and people differ, this is just my opinion, I'm not saying it's right, is buy a second-hand bike to start with, something like a 600cc, or something with not too much power. You could get something like a second-hand Bonneville that's, the new ones are 900cc, but they're still putting out lowish power. Get something, I would say, with sub 50 horsepower. And learn your craft on that to start with. If you buy, the reason why I say second hand is because you may well get fed up in the first 6 months if you ride it a lot, and then want to get something a bit more powerful. That's fine. By then you would have learnt how to handle the bike properly. Because when you first start learning, like all these new skills, like learn to drive, learn to fly, whatever, to start with, it's all new. It's all a bit alien. It takes a while to get to a level of sort of competence and expertise. So motorcycling, it is inherently dangerous, or can be if you're not careful. Don't go out there and buy your dream bike as your first bike, is my advice to you, because you never know, that could be your last bike. So yeah, go for something 600cc-ish, low power, second hand, so you don't lose a lot of money when you then sell it 6 months later. That's what I would say. And things like the SV650, actually, which we mentioned earlier, fantastic bike. That's probably got more horsepower than I just mentioned, but that would be a great learner, as well as, say, a Triumph Street Twin or anything along those lines. I know there are people out there that have gone straight off and bought themselves a GSXR 1000 or a Panigale. I don't recommend it. If I'd done that, I think I wouldn't be here talking to you now. That's all I'd say. Okay, what else have we got? Moto Guzzi V85T, says Michael Anderson. Thoughts? Love the look of it. I love those sort of bikes, as you probably know, those old style retros. Again, I just don't have access to Moto Guzzis, unfortunately. I know there is a dealer that I have spoken to in the past. I'm trying to think what they're called now. Wheels Motorcycles up in Peterborough. that did lend me a bike once, which was very kind of them, an Aprilia. I've got a feeling they're Moto Guzzi dealers, because I keep getting asked about that. I was thinking about speaking to them to see if I could borrow a Moto Guzzi from them to do a review. We'll see. I've never ridden one of those before. A bit like Harley Davidson, these are the bikes that are a bit of a mystery to me. Love to have a go on one. Stay tuned. If I can wangle it, I'll get one. Okay, trolley bus driver, the same question, same answer. Michael Neve, Street Triple was great first bike for me. Yeah, and they think, well, see, the Street Triple I nearly made as my first bike, but I was advised against it by a dealer. Funny enough, a dealer that didn't sell Street Triples, so read into that what you will, because he said it was too powerful. They're more than 100 horsepower. You can get actually now on the new Street Triples a one that's been restricted, that's suitable for Class A license holders, or whatever it's called. So you could start with a lower power one, but again, my view is, and again as a long-term Street Triple owner, don't start on one of those. They're just too powerful. You've got away with it, obviously. It worked for you, wouldn't have worked for me. Okay, what next? S1000 XR, great bike, says Mia's amazing show. Well, I need to check that out if you've got an amazing show, Mia. Yes, I agree. I haven't ridden one of those for a while, actually, but when I did ride it, brilliant bike. A little bit vibey, the first generation. That sort of put me off. And again, a bit like the S1000RR I was talking about before, the asymmetric front end. It looked a bit like a duck. Didn't like the front end. I'm hoping they might, in the next version, because BMW seem to be now going more symmetrical, they might change the front end on them, and suddenly they'll be more attractive. And then all of a sudden, why would you buy a GS if you could have one of those? A lot of people would say that anyway. Certainly a performant bike, and a lovely ride with all the benefits of, say, a GS in terms of electronics, but sports bike handling as well. So yeah, beautiful bit of kit. Now I'm going to do something a bit odd here. I've got a little button here that puts up a fault screen. I've got the lights on in here and the light on the camera shining at me, and I'm in my sweatshirt, and it's quite a warm evening. So just bear with me. I'm going to turn this screen on here. I haven't gone anywhere. I'm just going to take my jumper off. Hang on. And nobody wants to see a chap's nipple as you're doing this, do they? So there we go. Right, let's go back to where were we? Right, I'm back. There we go. Sorry about that. That's better. Whew. It's getting a bit warm there. Okie dokie. Let me just go back to... Oh, I see my stream health has gone to green now. How many have we got watching? 819 people watching simultaneously. That blows my mind. One of these days, I'm going to get more than 1,000 on the live stream at the time. I haven't managed it yet, but 819 is brilliant. So thank you very much for watching. How are we doing for time? 25 past 8. Do you want me to go on a bit longer? Let me know. Happy to go on for longer yet. Feels like I've barely started. I could talk all night, as you probably gathered. Right, okay, let's get to a couple more of these questions from before, and then I'll come back to the questions on the live chat. Sorry if I've missed anything that keeps getting repeated. I tend to always do that. Right, question from Barton New Rider. I don't know if that means you're a new rider from Barton. But anyway, he or she asks, why did you stop using your panniers for touring? So number one, good observation. And how do you know I've stopped using them for touring? As it happens, I sort of have. And the reason for that is the panniers that I use on my GS is what I use for touring. I have the BMW Vario cases, you know, those ones, not the big aluminium boxes like you see Charlie and Ewan use, but the ones that are sort of plasticky and extend. Both the top box and the side cases do that. And they're very good design and very clever the way they do that. The problem is, because they extend, that means the sort of plastic, if you like, is double thickness when they're retracted, and then you put a bag inside them, and then you put your stuff inside. So number one, there isn't that much capacity within them, even though they're quite big. And number two, and the real reason why I tended to stop using them, is they're flipping heavy, even when they're empty. I don't know how much they weigh, but just guessing, feeling by the weight of them, they weigh something like... thank you very much, Richard, very kind of you, thank you. That'll be going in the fuel tank. They weigh, I would guess, something like 4 to 5 kilograms each, even when they're empty. So by the time you got them on and the top box, which is another 6, say, that's another 16, 17 kilograms you've added without any luggage. So they're very heavy, and they add to the width of the bike, of course, particularly if they're extended. If you're on tour, you're carrying kit anyway, it can be quite ponderous. I like light bikes, generally speaking. I know that sounds incredible coming from somebody who rides a GS, but I think light is good as far as motorcycles are concerned. And I just found when I did my Norway tour, I used a roll bag and my top box. The top box was good because I keep stuff in there that I need to keep secure, so like camera kit that me as a YouTuber has to carry. You wouldn't necessarily need that if you're not carrying loads of camera kit. But the roll bag can go next to that and be strapped on, and I could fit far more in the roll bag. It was completely waterproof. It's easy to take off when you get to the hotel or whatever. It's cavernous. You could fit far more stuff in it, and it made the bike so much lighter and easier to handle. So that's why I stopped using my panniers for touring. It's not to say I won't ever use them again. I quite like the look of the bike with the panniers. They just add so much weight. Certainly the ones I had did. So yeah, that's kind of why you haven't seen those. Right, another 3 questions here. all related to the same subject. Not strictly speaking biking, but I thought I'd cover them off as I had 3 questions. So a question from Hash Brown, great name, Asim Ashraf and Kevin Daly. So Hash Brown said, how have you lost the weight? TIA, thanks in advance, I think that means. Asim Ashraf says, what diet are you on? I need to lose weight and I'm really curious. This is, if you've been a viewer for a while, I have lost a bit of weight. And Kevin says, has the recent weight loss affected your riding in any positive way, aside from increased mileage and the fit of your kit? So let me take those in reverse. So Kevin's question about weight loss affecting your riding in a positive way. So yes, it has, is the answer to that. Bizarrely, and I never thought of this, this is unintended consequences of things, isn't it? I tried quite hard to lose some weight, and I lost, since last October, 2.5 stone. So I'm now 70 kilograms exactly. When I started, I was like 13 stone. Now I'm exactly 11. So I'm quite happy with that. But what that means is on my, for example, my Honda CRF, low-powered bike, 22 horsepower, something like that, 250cc. That now goes quicker, which is fantastic, just because I've lost, a reasonable percentage. So I reckon on that bike, it used to top out at around about, for argument's sake, let's say 70. I'm now getting 75, 80 out of it, and nothing has changed except for I've lost a bit of weight. So that's a positive consequence of losing some weight. I assume the other bike's similarly affected, but that's the one I noticed it on because that's the most, obviously, the lowest power, so affected most by that sort of thing. Something that you said, is a positive benefit, the fit of your kit. Well, that's actually the opposite. What I've now noticed is actually none of my clothes fit anymore. Everything's too baggy, including all my biking kit and all my skiing kit as it happens. So I've got a real problem now. My biking jeans just fall off me. My jackets look too big. It's a real issue, so I've got to basically replace my kit. So if you are going to go on a weight loss thing, be prepared to buy new clothing. That's a bit of an unintended consequence. And then in terms of what Hash Brown and Asim asked, what sort of diet I'm on, how I've done it, very simple. This isn't going to become a nutrition channel, but basically I stopped eating. Well, I didn't stop eating, but I cut down radically on what I was eating. You don't need to eat that much a day actually to be healthy. I stopped eating all the things I liked. I used to love sweet stuff. I used to eat biscuits every day and things. That's biscuits, cakes, all gone. No sweet stuff. I've cut out dairy, milk stuff. I don't have any milk now. I only drink. This is getting very boring, but oat milk. I don't have any junk food in the week. I don't have any sausages. I don't have any red meat. I just eat fish and chicken, or pretty much. So basically, long story short, I eat very healthily during the week, Monday to Friday. I do quite a lot of exercise. I do at least an hour's exercise a day during the week. And at the weekends, I do what the hell I like because I love eating. It's one of the joys of life, isn't it? So so at the weekends, I have curries, I have beers, etc. Oh, that's the other thing. I don't drink during the week as well. So that's how I lost it. It does sound boring. It is painful. It is hard work. You've got to be really dedicated. It's quite difficult. But if you want to do it, it's about discipline, I think. So anyway, hopefully that's answered that question. Okay, one more from this list, then I'll come back to the live stream. Dolly Chaiwood. Dolly Chai. Sorry, got that wrong. Would you buy a demo? I assume you mean a demo bike from a dealer there, Dolly. And the simple answer is it depends. Depends on the bike and it depends on the dealer and how professional they seem. But I see no reason why you shouldn't buy a demo bike. Be interested to see your views on this actually, either in the live chat comments or in the comments below the recorded version of the video. Would you buy a demo? I would if the bike was right because you can get good money off. And of course, if a dealer is offering a demo bike, chances are they're looking after it properly. You would hope anyway. So regular oil changes, servicing, etc. So if the bike looks to be in good order, it's got a good proper full service history. They looked after it. It doesn't look damaged and frankly knackered. Then why not? If you get a good price on it, then yeah, absolutely, I'd buy a demo. But on the other hand, if you got one that were looked pretty tired and you weren't getting a good price and you weren't too sure about how sharp the dealer was, then I'd avoid it. So I think just use your noddle in the usual way. All right, that's that one done. Let's tick that off. Right, let's have a look at the live stream. What's coming in here then? Dodsey has an MT-09 Tracer. Good. Would you ever have room in the garage for a cruiser, says Rue. Yes, I certainly would. Maybe more on that in the next few years. That's the bike I'm missing, isn't it? Unfortunately. I like all bikes, as I mentioned earlier on. I like to cover all bases, but what I don't have is a cruiser, and having ridden a few in recent years, but not Harley, I must put that right. Yeah, I'd love a cruiser. I do appreciate where they're coming from. I like raw, high power, back to basics biking. Yeah, I've got room for a cruiser if you want to send me one. What else we've got? Joe, JS, Slimming World worked for me. I lost 4 stone and still enjoyed some great food. Well, that's amazing. Yeah, I mean, you can join these slimming clubs and stuff, can't you? I'm too tight to bother spending money to lose weight. I just thought, eat less and move more is the way I did it, and it worked for me. Okay, what else we got? Clive Penton. Yes, keep going, TMF. Wife's watching EastEnders. Oh, that's Clive. Okay, fine. Is EastEnders on? I haven't watched that for years. By the way, my daughter's boyfriend is often in EastEnders. That's a little known fact for you. He's an extra. Okay, what have we got? Don't get me wrong, S1000R is awesome. I never really used it at all, though, says Matt Nicholas. That must be something that I'm missing. What else have we got here? We've got something that's been hidden. Let me unhide it. Can I do that? No, it doesn't work. Never mind. That was from... Oh, well, it's no good because you can't see it as a hidden comment. Simon Snowball, did you really not like the CB1000R? Did you really not like it? What makes you say that, Simon? Again, it's one of those bikes, a bit like the KTM 790 I mentioned earlier, that didn't blow me away. I didn't not like it. It's absolutely fine. It's, as I've mentioned before many times, there aren't really any bad bikes out there. If you buy a new bike, they're usually pretty good. But the Honda, this is the naked... bike of theirs. What do they call it now? Sort of retro. Can't remember what they call it now. But anyway, it's a sort of modern retro bike. It was perfectly fine. It went well. Just didn't get me in the heart. There was nothing about it that it didn't have a particular character about it. Maybe it was a bit too perfect. Again, the looks of it didn't really grab me. Nothing wrong with it. Absolutely nothing wrong with it. Just didn't do it for me. So it's not that I didn't like it. I just didn't gel with it. Okay, what else have we got? Can you tell Rihanna it's a bedtime, says Paul. Rihanna, it's bedtime. Get up there now. What you're doing? You're disturbing your father. He's trying to watch a very intelligent channel. There we go. Oh, thank you very much for that from Siki. Sorry, my eyes are terrible without my glasses, so I can barely see these live chats as they come in. Exeter Rider CB1000R is great, but it's almost too much power for the road, I find. Takes the fun out of it. Just my view. Yeah, I agree with you there. And that's the same with all 1000cc bikes, really, isn't it? There is... And I've often said this over the years, and I think the older I'm getting, maybe I'm just becoming boring, but... there's a lot more fun to be had at riding a smaller bike to its full extent on the road than there is riding a big bike to just scratching the surface. I think I love sports bikes as much as the next man, but their place really is on the track. I fear. I'm sorry if that makes me sound old and boring, but on the road, there's really these bikes putting out 200 brake horsepower. Amazing bits of kit as they are, they don't really belong, in the hands of a normal rider on the road, I don't think. For me personally, I'm a bit of a rubbish rider. I'm better off with something a bit lower power, which is why I bought the 899 Panigale, not the big version. Even that, though, is a beast on the road and is more power than you need. So yeah, I agree with that on the CB1000. You don't need that much. Razul, Mr. Duke had to make the choice between a KTM 1290 and an MT10. Okay, both great, but again, actually, both those bikes suffer from what I just talked about. They're both, in my view, way more power than you need on the road, but they are both great bikes as well. There's no doubt about that. I love both those bikes. Choosing between the two, I've ridden the Super Duke more than the MT10, and I used to say the MT10 would come out top for me. I rode the MT10 SP yonks ago. Lovely bike, love the four-cylinder smooth power of that. Really lovely bike. And also I kind of like the transformer look of that. They've done a good job on that. I don't like all modern bikes, but that one, they just made that look so radical that I like the way the MT10 looks, more so than I do the Super Duke. So for me, I thought the MT10 would be the way to go, but I've ridden the Super Duke more, and I do like that. There's no doubt that's a great fun bike. The riding position is nice. It's got brutal power, and that in itself is addictive. You've got to be careful, though, for all the reasons I talked about before. I'd have to ride the MT10 again to be sure, but I think, for me, still, the MT10 tips it, and I think it's a bit cheaper as well than the Super Duke, so that's the one I'd go for. Brilliant bike, particularly in SP form. Lovely machine. What do you think about the Yamaha Tenere 700, says Sergey? Well, of course, it's not out yet, is it? So I can't really say. I think the press are doing it today, aren't they? I saw an MCN video earlier. Somebody was out riding it. And he said that so a few things that surprised me, actually. Number one, he liked it, but he also said that it was very lightweight compared to other big adventure bikes, and it was very simple, no electronics. I think other than ABS, I think it didn't have traction control, no riding modes, nothing. Don't know what the price is yet. For me personally, I don't like that upright Dakar look of it, which would put me off. But I think if you genuinely want to do either around the world riding or you want to go off-road and do big tours and, mix of stuff, then the Tenere 700's got to make sense, isn't it, as a practical go-anywhere bike. So, yeah, I'm looking forward to riding that as well. Again, as I think I alluded to before, I'm moving more towards simple bikes, and the Tenere 700, I think, if the price is right, could absolutely fit that bracket. So I think that's a good question. What else we got? Liam says evening. Good evening, Liam, to you. Thank you very much, Oily Hands. Most kind of you. That'll be going in the fuel tank for a future tour. Thank you. Niken, probably great. Would I? Nah, says Matt Nicholas. I rode the Niken recently. Let me have a look at my schedule. I'll tell you when that one's not coming up for a while, I don't think. This is the three-wheeler from Yamaha. June the 20th, a Thursday, the Niken GT, my first ride review, goes up. I really enjoyed riding that, but it was a novelty factor. It's an interesting ride. Everybody says how amazing the front end grip is, and I don't disagree. It does give a great feeling of confidence. In fact, in some ways, a bit too much confidence. So yeah, amazing bit of kit, some incredible engineering in the front end. I've made a couple of videos on that actually, so I won't give you all the information about it now. I have to wait till whatever I said, June the 20th or 10th for that one. But yeah, novel bike, amazing bit of engineering. Hats off to Yamaha for coming out with something different. But I have to say, would I have one? No, I wouldn't, because I don't quite know why you'd have that over a normal motorcycle, a two-wheeler. You can't ride it on a car license, so it's not like you can get away without having a bike license. You can't really filter, but you could filter with it, but it's a much wider, and it feels a bit ponderous to be filtering with. I'm not quite sure who's going to buy that bike. So great fun to ride, novelty. If you get a chance to ride one, do so. You'll love it. Would you buy one? Would I buy one? Nah, not for the money. You can buy some other really nice bikes instead. But anyway, my full review coming up on that. I'd love to know if you've actually got a Nikon, anyone, because I don't think I've ever actually seen one in the wild, and I don't think they're selling very well. Possibly for the reason I just mentioned, I don't know. Sam G, if you had to choose one bike to do everything, what would it be? I think that whipped off the top of the screen before I got there. This question comes up a lot. I'll quickly answer it. It would be the BMW GS. The 1200 I've got, or the 1250. It's an amazing do-it-all bike. I know it's an old man's bike. I know it's got terrible, people think of it as a boring bike. Thank you very much. So I can't read your name, actually. Is that Bart? Thank you. Skjörsted. Thank you very much. I apologise about the pronunciation of your name. Looks like that's Norwegian Crones, so fantastic. Half a beer in Norway. Yeah, exactly. I know all about that, mate. Norway, what a fantastic country. Well done you for living there. Great place for riding. I had a message earlier, actually, on Facebook from somebody who was leaving Mo i Rana today, heading up to the Arctic Circle. They were just going to check out that my sticker is still on the sign up there that I put up there last year. So that's fantastic. If you ever get the chance to ride in Norway, do so. Wow, what a country. Fantastic. What else have we got? TMF Bingo says last name, first name. Hopefully you're playing along. We should come up with a TMF Bingo card, shouldn't we? There's a few things that we could put in there. What could we add? White van, that'd have to be on there. What else could we have? Bubble of Calm, that would probably be there. Cheerio, of course, and Hey Kids, obvious ones, that'd be there. A few more in there, I'm sure, besides. I love a catchphrase, don't you? Ben C, new Suzuki Katana, question mark? No, thanks, Ben. I've talked about this before. I am looking forward to having a ride on one when they're widely available and I can maybe borrow one from a dealer. I'd love to have a go on one. I've not ridden the GSX S. I think that it's 1000 that it's based on, so I don't really have any knowledge of that engine. I imagine it's great, and the back end of it I quite like the look of, but that front, I just can't be doing with that. It's not, to my mind, it's not a handsome looking bike. Everybody says it looks better in the flesh, or certainly everybody that was on that bike launch for it recently said it looked better in the flesh, but that might be because Suzuki were keeping them dry and giving them things. I don't know. Oh, how cynical of me. Sorry, I take that back. So I don't know. I'll have to wait until I see it. It doesn't grab me. I'm sure it rides nicely, but again, it's not my type of bike, I don't think. But let me not prejudge it. I've not ridden it. I'd like to ride it so I can see, but it's going to have to be amazing for me to really like the Suzuki Katana. It's not in my 32-inch inseam. That'll be on the bingo as well. Yeah, good one. Nice one. Confidence inspiring. Another. Gosh, is it this bad? That's getting close to 1,000 viewers, says Sergey. Thank you for reminding me, Sergey. 939 now. Goodness me, this could be a new record for a TMF live. And I've been on for 42 minutes, I see, as well. So I've just noticed a whole new set of information that I can see on these screens. If only I'd noticed that before. That's brilliant. Let me know if I'm boring you, because I could sit here and talk all night. I really could, as you can probably tell. Oh, wow, that's brilliant. 939. That's mind-blowing. If there were 939 people stood in front of me on my driveway now, not sure I'd be talking quite like this. I'm just going to have a swig of water while I think about that. Wow, 939, that's brilliant. Okay, let's read some of these else that are coming up then. Goldilocks Zone, of course, Steve. How could I have not mentioned that? Blimey, how many catchphrases have I got? People love a catchphrase, don't they? None more than me. Some I wish I'd never come up with. For example, the Hey Kids thing. That causes me so much trouble, it's untrue. The rest I quite like, so that's all good. Goldilocks Zone. Did I mention that? Definitely we go with that one. What else have we got? Best biking jeans, somebody asked. Something just flew off the thing there. I've got a few pairs of biking jeans at the moment. I've got a couple of pairs from Dragon that I've had for ages. I've just got a pair from Richer, actually. Going back to that previous thing I talked about losing weight, I've also lost a waist size. I'm now a 30-inch waist, so I was a 32 before. Just throwing that out there for any people that are aspiring to be thinner. So my biking jeans were falling off me, so I got myself a new pair from Richer, and they're quite... they call them... I think they're actually technically what they call skinny jeans, but because... bike jeans are well padded anyway, aren't they? With that cotton material inside and all the padding and stuff, they look quite bulky compared to normal jeans. So if you get a skinny cut but with all the bike bulk, you end up with a jean that looks normal. So at the moment, in my mind, the best biking jeans are the Richer ones. Haven't done a review on them. I've been wearing them for the last, I don't know, 2 months. This time of year I tend to ride in the jeans. They've got all the D3O armour. They're really, really good. I do want to do a review on them. So stay tuned on that. I just want to, before I do any reviews, I want to be absolutely sure that I love them. So far they're going well, and I want to get a good probably 6 months of use out of something before I do a review. So I often get people ask me what are various things that I'm wearing when I'm on these bike reviews. I try and reply, of course, but I don't. I won't do a review till I've worn them for a long time. And you don't get through kit that quickly, do you? So, for example, I'm still wearing the Oxford brown jacket. I think it was called what was it called now? Can't remember what it's called now. But like, what the heck was the thing called? It'll get to me. It's like a wax jacket. It's not wax, it's a cotton one. Anyway, it's a great jacket. I've been wearing that for maybe 3 years now. It now swamps me as well, unfortunately. I need a couple of sizes down. But I'd have another one of those. They're absolutely brilliant. So, Oxford, if you're listening, send me a smaller one. If only it worked like that. So anyway, there you go. I can't remember what the question was now. Rockers jeans are very comfortable, says Ben. Yeah, and also the ones that are made up in Norfolk somewhere. What are they called now? The ones that got a British flag on them, I hear are very good as well. People always recommend them. I've not tried them, but maybe one day I will. I think you can even go to the factory and see them being made. Might be a little subject for a video there. Hood, that's the ones. Michael Chase says Hood jeans, and they're British. They were the ones I was thinking of. Lots of people recommend them. Colin Vincent says, I fancy some leather and textile mixed trousers. Not many about in long leg size. I wouldn't know anything about long leg size, Colin. I've got a 32-inch inseam. Tim, Hardy Wax, that was it. Want to get a pair. Oh, missed what the rest was that you said there, Tim. But yeah, the Hardy Wax jacket was the Oxford one I'm talking about. I have reviewed that. I've worn it extensively. People ask me about it all the time. Check out my review on that if you're in the market for a sort of a textile, cruisy type jacket. Brilliant bit of kit. Right, back to a couple more questions from the list here, and then I'll come back to the live stream. How are we doing for time? Quarter of an hour to go if we're going to do it for an hour. Right, I better get on to Parish Notices as well then soon. Next one from Tony O'Brien. Tony from Windsor here. Street Triple R to Bob, a good move or not, he asks. Well, good question. It depends what sort of riding you do, doesn't it, Tony? They're both great, but obviously I'm a Street Triple R fan. I have one and I've owned it from new for the last 6 years. So clearly I'm biased and I love the Street Triple R. I also like the Bobber. I've ridden those quite a bit. Triumph kindly lent me one a year or so back for a couple of weeks. So I know, how the Bobber feels. That's a nice bike as well. Amazing torque, great thrust. Not a bike you're going to probably want to tour on though. Not really anywhere to strap kit to, and also I find they position with your feet forward, sitting upright, a bit painful on the lower back after a long period of time. So depends what sort of riding you're doing. If you're only going to have one bike, you're using it for everything, keep with the Street Triple R. Going to the Bobber would be a bad move. If you're just an occasional rider, you just like a Sunday blast, then yeah, the Bobber, if you like that sort of thing, yeah, good move. Next one, Kevin O'Kane. Any thoughts on doing a vlog on a track day? Yeah, I'm going to be doing a track day later this year actually. Can't remember where. Might be at Bedford Autodrome. Anyway, that's later on in the year. So there's going to be, I'll no doubt make a video of that. But when you say any thoughts on a track day, if you go to my main channel page and do a search, I've done at least 3 vlogs on track days previously. I think one was called What Goes On a Track Day. So if you search that, you'll find at least that one. And there are others there as well, Kevin. So if you've not done a track day, a bit like riding on an off-road thing, I just think they, they build your confidence on the road. They make you a better road rider, which is what I am, predominantly a road rider. I still need to be better, but doing the odd track day, doing the odd bit of off-road just helps with all that stuff. I'm not a track day addict. They're good fun, but I'm a sort of a take it or leave it. But definitely, if you've never done one, do one. Because once you get on the track, you realise how fast your bike really can go. You realise how quickly it really can brake. And you realise what it's like to ride with such a width of road available to you. It's a whole other game on the track. It's really good. Edward Dale Cook says, when can you get hold of the Royal Enfield Interceptor? I think I mentioned that earlier. I've had one this last weekend actually. I wanted to get a more in-depth ride of the Interceptor. I rode one back in January and put up an initial review. I really like the bike, and so yeah, I've been riding one all weekend. It just went out the garage this morning actually. I really like that. So yeah, to answer your question, when you get hold of one, I've just had one. You will be seeing much more on the Interceptor coming on the channel in the near future. Okay, that'll do for those for now. Let's get back to the live stream. See people who actually got here live have got to say. 939 watching still, no change there. Okay, Dodsey, warmer weather. I'm in the jeans, but prefer the richer two-piece leathers. Fair enough. Yeah, in warm weather, the jeans are fantastic, aren't they? It's been about 20 degrees here today where I am, I think. So it's been lovely riding in jeans today, and just a leather jacket and a t-shirt under it has been an absolute bliss. It's a beautiful, beautiful riding day today. I've been out both on the Royal Enfield Interceptor this morning and then on my Street Triple. Beautiful. I wish I'd had more time to go for a decent ride today. It's one of those days with nice blue skies, fluffy clouds. I could have been out there all day, but sadly, I had things to do. Graham, another catchphrase is good question. Okay, we'll end up with here, all my catchphrases will actually be the whole English language. Maybe I'll just use a very small subset of it, but am I getting that predictable? Sorry, a bit late, was watching Game of Thrones, says Michael Williams. Am I the only person who's never seen Game of Thrones? Probably not. I think there are others in that case. But somebody recently said I look like a character from Game of Thrones, and I can neither agree or disagree with that because I've never watched it, so I don't know. I must sort that out. Next, James says, have you been to Turweston Airfield? I have indeed, James. And in fact, there's a video on my channel on that very subject. Again, if you go to my main screen of my, if you're interested, to my main Missenden Flyer screen, if you scroll down, there's lots of playlists towards the bottom. There's one called Why I Call Myself the Missenden Flyer, and there are lots of my flying videos. There's one about 3 videos. There are 2 videos, in fact, about flying to Turweston there. So if you're interested in Turweston, flying there, go and check those videos out and see how I did it. Graham Tucson, he's never seen it. Excellent. I don't watch Games of Thrones, says Dodsey. Brilliant. What aircraft do you fly currently? Is it the same type as when you did your PPL, says Alex? Yes and yes, actually. I learnt in a PA-28, which is a Piper, when I did my PPL, which was 20 plus years ago. In those days, it was a Piper Cherokee, which is a smallish version of that particular airplane. Quite famous. Most people know what a Piper Cherokee looks like, low-winged light aircraft. At the moment, I'm flying what's called a Piper Warrior, which is a later version of that, slightly bigger, slightly more powerful engine. Reason why I'm flying that is because it's the plane that I have access to from a friend of mine. A pal owns it. He lets me fly it very kindly of him for sort of mates rates. I pay for him. I pay for fuel, basically, so it works out a bit cheaper than actually renting a plane. I did used to have a share in an aircraft, unfortunately. Long story short, got some corrosion in the main wing spine. We had to scrap it, and I was gutted because it was an airplane called a TB-10. It's a French airplane. It's a bit bigger than a Cherokee. It was a complex airplane, had a variable pitch prop. I won't get into too much of the detail, but it was a great touring aeroplane. I flew it over the Alps. I went to Corsica in it, flown it to Switzerland. I've been down through Italy, all sorts of places, all of France many times. Really enjoyed flying the TBDs, as they call it in France. So I miss that plane dearly. Maybe one day, if I can get some more money together, maybe I'll get another share in one of them again. But at the moment, it's a PA-28, which is the code speak for a Piper Warrior. That's what I'm flying at the moment, and it is basically the plane I learnt to fly in, so feel very comfortable in those. So thank you for that question. What else we got? Would you like to fly a Warbird or a Spitfire, says John Sawyer. Find me a pilot who wouldn't want to fly a Spitfire. An expensive game. Anyone can do it if you've got the money. In fact, the same pal that lends me the plane that I fly in, he was recently 60 and his wife bought him, I think, 20 minutes in a Spitfire, and it was something like 3,000 quid down at Goodwood. So that's an expensive 20 minutes, isn't it? Yeah, I'd love to do that. That would be amazing, wouldn't it? I've got a few other pals that fly Warbirds, not Spitfires, I hasten to add, but Chinese planes, Nanshangs, things like that. Several of which have threatened to take me up. I've been up in those before, but I'd like to go up and maybe do a video in some more unusual aircraft. So I might do that. Those flying videos, I love doing them, but they take quite a bit of organising. Number one, flying generally takes a bit of organising. There's a lot of planets that need to align to make it happen. You know, the airplane has to be serviceable, it has to be available, I have to be feeling well, the weather has to be good, I have to have spare time, the weather has to be good in several ways. All sorts of things need to align. So to then make a video about it as well just adds to the complexity. So they're quite difficult to do. They take a lot of effort. I don't know if you saw the one I did last week when I flew up to my parents for lunch. Great day, beautiful weather, thoroughly enjoyed that flight and enjoyed making the film, but quite complicated doing all that. There were 3 cameras in the cockpit I was running. I was thinking about what I was saying on the camera as well as trying to fly up through some complicated airspace. Quite difficult. So I'm going to keep those to a minimum. 1, because they are difficult. 2, it's very expensive. I don't get many views on that particular video. I think it's had something like 8,000 views so far, whereas the one when I got caught by the police the other day, as I mentioned, nearly 70,000 views, and the difference in the effort that went into those is just unbelievable. And I'm very aware that this is a motorcycling channel and you're here to watch about motorbikes, so I don't want to put too much flying stuff in there, but once in a while I'll sneak one in, as much as anything to explain why I call myself the Missenden Flyer. I live in Great Missenden and I fly aeroplanes. That's the reason. Okay, what else we got? Sleeping Dragon is a must watch, guys. You know nothing, TMF, says Sleeping Dragon. Thank you. That must be Game of Thrones. No, I'm willing to be convinced. I'll tell you what, I don't have a lot of time to watch TV, to be honest with you. I don't have much time to watch YouTube, let alone anything else. You'd be surprised how much time it takes to do this stuff. David Bell. Bell helmets any good? Yes, I think they are. I haven't got any, but they look quite cool, don't they? And as you're called David Bell, and it would say Bell on the front, I think you should get one. Motor Michelle, I ride quads. You should try. It's great. Yeah, I've ridden a quad in the past, and it was great. Thing is, you need a bit of land to do them on, and I hear they're very dangerous as well. And are they as much fun as bikes, Motor Michelle? I don't know. Why would you ride a quad rather than ride a bike? Answer me that, and that would be interesting to know. Paul Collins, due, of course, to engine size, the BM has loads of electrics. Not sure what that refers to. Okay, Mr. Super Duke. Oh, he's talking to someone else. Hey, Tim, I'm thinking of getting the Oxford Mondial kit you recommend. Is it still at the top of your list, says Jamie. Yes, it very much is. That is an amazing jacket, amazing value. It's one of those, it's not just the jacket, the trousers as well. It's what I wore on my Norwegian tour, or Arctic tour, I should say, as well as on various other tours. Oh, 945 watching now, creeping up. This is, simple answer, yeah, it's great. It's laminated, so you don't need to wear separate waterproof kit if the rain comes out. There's not a separate layer inside. Oh, thank you very much, David, for the is that payment for the answer? No need, but thank you. So the Mondial, brilliant. It not only does it do what it says on the tin, it's waterproof and keeps you warm and dry, and it also keeps you cool. It sounds like an advert. It's not, by the way. I don't get paid by Oxford to say good things about the kit, by the way, which I did. I have asked them, but it's not working. But yeah, it's comfortable. It's lightweight. It fits me very well. That's the one thing actually that probably is a bit tighter than the cut is a bit smaller than usual. So that even after my weight loss still fits me all right. I'm a big fan of it. So if you're in the market for a new jacket, definitely check out the Mondial. It's about, I don't know exactly, but it's about 300 quid versus if you got an equivalent Gore-Tex one, would probably cost you twice that. So it's excellent value, and I think look good too. You don't see that many on the road. They're quite stylish looking, I think, personally. What else we got? Steve Dunn. How have you been getting on with Moto Tracker? Thinking of getting one? Yeah, fine, Steve. Love them. Again, great value bit of kit. This is the little tracker that I've got installed on a couple of my bikes. I've got the more expensive bike track ones on other bikes. So it's been interesting to compare the two, and the Monimoto is such better value. You buy the device itself, which is about 100 quid, and then it's something like 30 quid a year, which basically just renews the SIM card, and you're done. And although it doesn't have all the functionality that things like Bike Track have, it's so much cheaper because Bike Track, when I got mine, I think it was 400 quid to have it installed, and then it's about £110 a year for the subscription. It is monitored by a call centre. They do phone you whenever my bike gets moved and all the rest of it. But the downside is it drains my battery of my bike, so I have to have my bikes plugged into battery chargers all the time. If I leave them for more than 2 days, the battery will be flat, and that's all down to the Bike Track tracker. Don't get that problem with the Monimoto. So big fan of the Monimoto. If you do go for one, by the way, I think is there a discount code? Anyway, there's links below my videos for Monimoto. I've raved about them before. If you just want a cheap basic tracker, it does the job. Go for it, you won't regret it. Off to Scotland, second week in June, says Hedgehog. Any plans to return, TMF? I'll think of you at Applecross, though. I will have the missus too. Crikey, yeah, that's going to be dicey on the. That says very tight turns going up there. That's the Balakna Bar, the Applecross there. Oh, thank you, Captain Geert van Dieren. Sorry, let's put my glass on back. Get your name right, or ish. Geert van Deurzen. I'm assuming Geert. You're in Holland. Thank you for watching, and thank you for your super chat. So I'm banging the mic around here like a good one. So yeah, enjoy Applecross. Don't know what bike you're doing it on. If it's heavily laden, that's going to be a bit of a challenge, but enjoy. You'll love it though. The scenery up there is absolutely stonking. If only I'll put a sticker up there now, you could have tracked that down as well. I was thinking of doing a little treasure hunt of stickers I've put around the bike. I don't put stickers that many places, but I've started to get into the swing of this now. Somebody had a go at me actually for putting a sticker on a sign somewhere. It was the one I put up in Scotland actually, and I am coming back to Scotland this year if I can to answer that question. Somebody put Moto Michelle, £5. Thank you very much indeed. Somebody said that why am I defacing signs? It's making them look disgusting. I shouldn't do it. And then I've only ever put my sticker on signs that have already got hundreds of other stickers on. By the way, I'm not going to start a new fad. I don't know what you think of that. I don't want to deface signs, but I think it's quite a fun thing to look at these stickers that visiting people have put on signs and stuff. Not just signs, but coffee shops and places as well. I've stuck them on. Anyway, a little idea of a bit of a TMF treasure hunt coming up there to see how many people can spot what stickers. I don't know. Is that sad? Probably. What else we got? Daniel, place a sticker in the back. On the back of the sign, Dan. Yeah, could do. Yeah. I did think about it, actually. I was wondering about sticking one on the Great Missenden sign, or is that outrageous? People will know it's me, though. That's a problem, and maybe I'll get in some sort of trouble. But then if you're ever travelling through Great Missenden, you can see the sticker and think, oh, TMS been here. Anyway, that's the way that works. Clive Penton. Tried all my Gore-Tex gear on in a big store to get sizes and bought them online and saved £. Yeah, but two minds about that, actually, to be honest. Geocache says last name first. Yeah, it's that sort of idea. This trying things on in the shop and then buying them online. I understand you get the saving, but things like crash helmets and stuff, you try them on in a dealer. You've got to try crash helmets on if you've never tried that brand before, I think. And then if you try it on a dealer, you're using their time and their advice. I think you should buy it at the dealer. Dealers are closing because people are buying online. So if you're going to go and use a dealer, personally, just from a sort of a high and righteous point of view, I think you should buy them from the dealer. But yeah, it's up to you. If you buy online, you can save money. I do buy a lot of stuff online that I already know about. and that's fine. But I don't think I'd go and spend time in a shop and get help and assistance from them and then go and buy it somewhere else. I just think that's wrong. Okay, sorry about that. What else we got? 1994, Norway is great. I'm a Norwegian. Says Toyota Supra Wheeler builds. Yeah, well, you're right, it is. You don't have to be a Norwegian to know that. It's a fantastic place to ride. The ferry bridge, get loads of stickers from around the world during TT. Gives people, mostly bike riders, good luck, says Dodsey. Excellent. 909 watching. Oh, people are dropping off. It's nearly the top of the hour. I better get on to Parish Notices. Blimey, I was getting carried away there. I do apologise. Right, a few things I want to mention. First off, quick word about my sponsors. As usual, I must say thanks to Custom Fit Guards. I've got this little logo. Here it is, up here somewhere. Gosh, it's so hard to point to these things when they're in completely different things. They're the people that sponsor this video and my bike news, so thanks to those guys. And I always mention them on these videos, but what I particularly want to mention this time, because they've posted on their channel, which is called Team CFG, they've posted a 2-part interview with me. You may have seen the first part, which was kind of an unofficial chat around my garage. The second part is a little bit more formal. If you haven't seen that, go and have a look. I'll put a link on the recorded version of this to that video. I really enjoyed doing it. Great bunch of guys, great meeting them again, and I really enjoyed doing that interview. If you want to learn a bit more about me, that sounds really bizarre, but if you do, go to Team CFG, check out the second part of their video. The other reason I mention it is not only because I want to drive people to their video, but I want to get my videos on their channel to be the ones that have got stratospherically more views than Lamb Chop Rides has got. Alright, so go and do that. I think it is slightly beating him at the moment, but I want it to stratospherically beat him. So go and watch that video. You might find that of interest, so thanks to them. I also want to say a huge thanks to my newest sponsor, VisorCat. You may have seen their logo appearing at the start and finish of my video. So I mentioned, I think last time, that they were coming on board. They're on board now, so thank you to those guys for sponsoring me. They're the people that make the little thumb wiper. You might have seen it. It's much more than that. You might have seen on my left-hand glove on many of my videos. Lots of people were asking me what that was, so I did a little review about it. That went down well, and now VisorCat has sponsored me, so thank you very much. If you've not seen that review video I did on the VisorCat, check it out. If you ride in all weathers, summer and winter, great little gadget going. Quite expensive, to be fair, but they do work, and if you're a regular rider, brilliant. And then whilst I'm talking about paying the bills, thank you very much indeed to those of you that have signed up to my new Patreon website. I've been agonising for ages whether to do Patreon or not. I have now done it. I've got a little video on that site, a little special video that I made just for Patreon. That's up and running. I've got about 180 people signed up to that now, so thank you so much for being early adopters. I really appreciate that. If you don't know what Patreon is, go again, I'll put a link somewhere on the recorded version or below, or go to patreon.com/themissenden You'll see my page there and you can learn what that's all about. So thank you for that. Really pleased that seems to be going so well. That's brilliant. And then I want to let you know, one for your diary, the next live stream, Monday, June the 17th at 8 o'clock. Again, apologies to those people in Australia. I know it's like 3 a.m. there in Sydney or something at the moment. I had a few comments on earlier on when I sort of advertised this live stream on Twitter and Facebook and so on, that it was too late for Australia. Maybe one day I'll do another Australian special where the timing works for those guys better. So June the 17th, 8 p.m. is the next one. Make a note of that. Well, I mentioned Twitter and Facebook. I'm also on Instagram as well. Be brilliant to have you follow me on there. I do post different things on. I try and post different things on each site, particularly Instagram. I do different stuff to Facebook and Twitter. Reason why I mention it, it'd be great to have you follow me or whatever it's called on those various platforms, because one day if something happens to YouTube and suddenly I'm whipped off, I've got no way of communicating with you. If you follow me on one of those, I can get in contact with you again, and if I pop up on some other platform, I can let you know where that is. So it's sort of I'm kind of doing that as a bit of an insurance policy. It'd be brilliant if you can follow me on those as well, if you are on those tools. I know a lot of people don't do social media other than YouTube, so I understand if you don't want to, that's fine too. Stuff coming up on the Missenden Flyer, so I'll give you a bit of a heads up on what's happening. I've got the final video on the Vitpillen that has now gone back to Husqvarna, so thanks to those guys for lending me that. The final video that's coming up. I've got more from my recent tour to Tuscany with Tuscany Motorcycle Tours, so another video on May the 27th and then one on June the 6th as well. That was a great tour, really enjoyed that, and those videos, a bit like these tour ones often do, they get better as they go on. I think the later episodes are better than the earlier ones actually, which is a shame, because again, the way these tour videos always work is you get a lot of views to start with and then it gradually tails off, so fewer people get to see the later videos. But if you are at all interested in the touring videos, I know they appeal to a certain sector mainly, not everybody, but 27th and the 6th of June, the next from the Tuscany Motorcycle Tours. I've got the long-awaited and anticipated review of the Multistrada Enduro, the 2019 model. That's coming up soon. Borrowed that from Blade down in Abingdon. That actually, I've often slated the Multistrada for being too top heavy and a bit ponderous, but they've done some big changes on that bike and I loved it. Thank you very much, Laris72. That's very kind of you indeed. I've got the first ride of the bike I mentioned earlier, the F850 GS, actually one I borrowed from Barnstorm, and that's in the rally scheme. That's coming up soon as well, and then I've got many more videos on that because I've got that bike, not their one, but BMW's one, in the garage at the moment, so a lot more coming out on that bike if you're interested. Another bike news monthly, of course, coming. Always enjoy doing those. That's my review of the papers when I basically read MCN to you. They seem to go down quite well. I've already mentioned the Yamaha FJR 1300 review. Wow, what a bike that is. 13th of June, that one's coming up. I've got a number of bonus extra videos going up on Saturdays as well. Sometimes they're those exhaust sound ones. Now, I get mixed comments on these. I get people saying, what is the point of you putting these videos? These are the ones where you just see me revving a bike and it says there's no commentary on this video. Basically, I put those up because, again, when I buy bikes, one of the things that's important to me is how it sounds, and I like to hear the exhaust. So I put up these occasional videos, which is just me riding past or revving the bike so you can hear what the exhaust sounds like. It's nothing more than that. If you don't like that or you don't want to see it, don't watch them. But I do get, it's a love it or loathe it type thing. Some people say put them up, some people say don't. I've got them in the can. I'll just stick them up as extra bonus videos outside of my regular Monday and Thursday schedule. And I've got some good old-fashioned blogging coming up as well, of course. So, absolutely loads of stuff coming up on the Missenden Flyer. It's been great talking to you again. Great for sticking around for this, like over an hour. I've still got 831 watching, which is brilliant. So thank you very much for that. Good talking to you. Don't forget, follow me on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. You can email me or drop me comments on YouTube. And, of course, don't forget to check out that Patreon page as well if you're so inclined. That would be brilliant. Really appreciate it. Thanks for watching. Look forward to speaking to you next time. Till then, this has been the Missenden Flyer. Cheerio.